Hey guys, I'm Nikhil Augustine, and this is the Hangout here on NBATV Canada, the second best show on television after True Detective. Now, we always talk basketball, of course, so we got a whole host of people ready to chop up the game. I got to introduce you to my co-hosts. Our answer to Matthew McConaughey, of course.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
This is my man Gareth Wheeler, who absolutely killed the show last time. We're dying to hear what you have to say this week.
I'm just trying to figure out how to sit. Once I feel that out, then I'll be all good.
All right, well, welcome to the couch.
Thank you.
Good.
You guys, at the end of the couch, that's Dan Gladman. You know him, you love him. He is the broadcaster for the Toronto Raptors games. He gets on the road, at home, finally gets a little bit of break. He'll be home for a bit. Thank you for joining us. We'd love to have you in the
Great to be back here.
And then I always have like a guest that I do a really good job of introducing because there's a lot of history behind the relationship. When I came to Canada, I was 9 years old. One of my very first role models was a guy I saw walk into the gym in a suit. Everybody was in tracksuits. Everybody was chilling. This guy came every day to the gym in a suit. He rapped for Top Gun to the fullest. One of my role models and heroes, GD, Gary Durant, GaryDurant.com. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you very much. It's wonderful.
He's doing it again today, too, showing us up. Look at how good he looks.
A lot of people don't know Gary's running a lot of camps, but he's also the former NCAA Slam Dunk champion. So we're going to be using some of that knowledge today because we're talking about the Slam Dunk competition afterwards. But first, let's jump right into it. Big game hunting. Wednesday night in the NBA, and at 10 o'clock, they decide to do us a favor and put two huge matchups on. But we got to start with the Golden State Warriors playing the defending champion Miami Heat. Anticipations about this game, because for me, I was excited to see Golden State kind of compete with this group. Minus Dwayne Wade, I want to see if the Heat could keep it up, and I want to see how they respond to defense, Golden State. So Gareth, I'll start with you. We'll get into the highlights, but what were your takeaways from this game?
That the Golden State Warriors remain one of the most exciting teams in the NBA. They continue to bury themselves in holes early in ball games, which is problematic for a team that wants to climb in the Western Conference. And right now, looking at Golden State being an 8th seed, they're a team that you expect so much more from. Like, you don't typically want to slot them in that hole. And they're going up against the Miami Heat at home. No Dwayne Wade. I wanted them to come out and win this ball game, and it looked like it was all good. Steph Curry putting his team on his back, but
Those
it was
are
all
2K
for
moves.
nuts.
Those are NBA 2K moves.
Ridiculous. But he's been doing this all year long.
All right, so here's the moment that a lot of people want to talk about here. LeBron James, a guy that we know is kind of a passer at times, he sells out completely. He sells out completely. He says, I'm not going for the 2. I want to end the game. I'm going to play for the 3. Gary Durant, your thoughts on the decision?
Well, first of all, I agree with Gareth that it was just a wonderful game. What a great game to see just before the All-Star break. Secondly, I know a lot of people might want to question Mark Jackson's decision not to double-team LeBron at that point. Personally, LeBron is what we call a global player. A global player is a kid with some height that can play every position, can pass, dribble, and kill you in many different ways on the court. LeBron, if you look that up, you'd see LeBron's picture. So if you double-team him, there would be other competent players such as Chalmers and Ray Allen, the greatest three-point shooter in history. So
and that was Andre Iguodala,
who is a very good defender. So I think it was just greatness. It was just LeBron.
Where would the double team have come from? Because the spacing on the floor, and I'm going to take my hat off to Eric Spoelstra here. Where was it coming from? It was like perfect spacing on the floor. I don't know where that double would have come from.
All right, well, LeBron James messed around and got himself a triple-double. What I want to talk about is Miami's a great defensive team. Golden State got to above 100 points. Is that a little bit of a takeaway for this Golden State team, or did Miami allow them to play their game there?
No, that wasn't a great win, a good loss for Golden State. There's no way they can take any consolation out of that. They were on their home court. They were down by 19 or 20. We saw this when the Raptors were there. You kind of alluded to this. Sometimes they coast into games. And, something a question we posed on the Raptors pregame show a few weeks ago, is it more likely that Golden State will win the finals or miss the playoffs? If you look at the standings, as good as Golden State is, they're kind of just hanging by a thread to that in that 6-7 position. If Memphis gets hot in the second half, if Dallas gets hot, I'm not saying Golden State's going to miss the playoffs, but there is that possibility that it could happen. To me, a dream finals is Golden State-Miami, but the Warriors have a lot of problems.
The Thunder hates you, man. Oklahoma City hates you.
We saw that finals. It wasn't that good.
Hey, listen, we do have to mention Andrew Bogut was out for that game. I'm with Dwayne Wade. But let's move on because there was another great game going on at 10:30 in the NBA. Chris Paul returns. Blake Griffin's still playing at a crazy clip. And the Clippers match up with a new member of the NBA elite family in the Portland Trailblazers, being led by Damian Lillard, who's going to do everything at the All-Star weekend, and LaMarcus Aldridge. The Clippers got Chris Paul back to give them 20 and 12, but Blake Griffin's still playing at that high clip. At the end of that game, let's go to the highlights, guys. Let's go to the highlights, because I want to walk through this experience that the Portland Trailblazers went through with the Clippers. This is a team that does not have a lot of big game experience. Coming down the end of the game, final possession for them, it turns out, and you're going to get a shot like this. Gary,
Well,
is experience going to be their killer?
exactly. I think one of the problems with the Trailblazers is that they're very young.
Extremely.
And when you look at the Clippers and how well they played minus Chris Paul, I really think it was a blessing for them that Chris was out for a minute, because I think Chris Paul being a part of the lineup has slowed down the progress of Blake Griffin and Jordan. They still don't have a post player. No, they still don't have a post player who you can throw the ball to the way you can throw it to Aldridge and know that he's going to turn around and make a play.
I disagree, because I think Blake has made that jump this year.
Well, I was going to say
Blake
that
has just become, and maybe you're right. It became a lot of it came with Blake putting the team on his back when Chris Paul was out.
Right.
Blake Griffin has impressed me to the nth degree. I don't know why people are still questioning his ability. For me, he's like a top 5 player in the NBA right now. And he makes the Los Angeles Clippers a viable, legit contender to win the Western Conference this year. I think the Clippers are that good. And I think you're right. I think they learned something when Chris Paul was out.
Absolutely, because all of a sudden it wasn't just Loves anymore.
I want you to respond. Are you buying them as a legit contender for the Western?
I'm buying about Griffin, but I just can't. They're the Clippers. I just can't picture them in the NBA Finals.
Lakers fans will never reconcile that idea. Listen, we still have a lot more to break down here on the Hangout. I mean, we got Gary Durant in the house. We got to talk about All-Star dunk festivities. All that and more coming up on the Hangout.